So one of the exercises, I like extemporaneous speaking, which is speaking off the cuff. You don't know what you're going to talk about. And so I give, and I'm going to use this as an example. So I tell them to use this ink pen and make it be something that it's not. So of course we see this ink pen here, but I want individuals to make it be a teleporter, a transporter, make it do something that it is not, that you can physically see. And that kind of breaks the ice and it gets them in the mode of being able to think.
Welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, where connections matter. We are live on episode number 71. My name is Charles McKay, and I'm the host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, where connections matter. Each week, I bring you interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. So, want to thank everybody for joining us live. Happy Sunday. We're here in the Detroit area where we had a great weekend of weather. Friday, 80 degrees. Saturday, 80 degrees again, but the temperature dropped. So that's typical Michigan weather. People are putting on their coats and earmuffs and skull caps and rain jackets again. So hopefully it gets back warm again later this week. But if you're joining us live, we want to thank you for in our Facebook group, Detroit Metro Plug, the marketplace, who are watching live and are also on the Detroit Metro Plug podcast on our Facebook page, as well as our LinkedIn page. Want to thank you. So we have a great guest. We're going to be talking about professional development, personal development, and success in motion. So before we get into our guest for tonight, as you know, I am an ambassador for a great organization called Black Leaders Detroit. And they're doing great work by supporting African-American led businesses and nonprofits. Over the past year, they've given over $1 million in resources. And so if you're looking to make a difference in the community, if you're looking to be a hero and have an impact with local small businesses, doesn't matter who you are, you can become a hero just like me. Join me by supporting this organization. All it takes is $1 a week or $52 a year. And you can help support local African-American business owners and their endeavors and their development in their business. I'm going to show you this quick video that shares more information about that. Okay, thank you.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help, because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community, and so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right, just $1 a week keeps it moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. So if you want to be a face of a hero, you can be a hero too. And join me by supporting Black Leaders Detroit. Simply go to blackleadersdetroit.org to become a member, and you too can make a difference. All right. So let's get into our guest for today. So I'm excited about today's show, episode number 71. And I'm going to introduce our next guest. So our next guest, her background, I'm going to read a little bit of information about her. She has a background in professional and personal development. She's a professional and personal development consultant. She's also a speaker, an author, and a minister. She works with individuals and groups to develop and enhance communication and leadership skills, to enhance their confidence, to enhance their presentation, skills, and also to work on mental emotional intelligence so that they can so they can go to the next level. Um, she's passionate about creating programs that benefits adults, teens, and children. She founded her business called Strategic Image Consulting LLC. Uh, Her education and background is well, actually, she works in education, leadership. She also works for the Oakland County Schools, so she'll share a little bit about that. Um, she's also the founder of a women's or female mentoring program called. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Is it
Exquisite femininity.
exquisite femininity? Okay, all right. That's that West Side vernacular. I have to make sure I pronounce things right. She is also president of the Farmington Hills Optimist Club. Um, she's received awards and accolades. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 71. None other than Nicole Blackmon.
Hey, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on your show, Mr. McKay.
Yes, thank you for being a part of this platform. First question always with our guests. Just tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, east side, west side. This is a little joke that I have on the show. It doesn't really matter what side you're on.
That's okay.
Just share a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, and how you got to where you're at today.
All right. Well, thank you again for allowing me to be a guest on your show on today. I'm Nicole Blackmon, and I am actually a West Sider. And as they say, West Side, anyway. So I'm a mother of 3 beautiful daughters who are all adults. I have a twin sister. I love people. I love children. I love getting to know people and finding out what makes them move, what makes them tick, what gives them joy, what makes them smile, and that is I really enjoy working with people. So how I got my start with strategic image consulting was with training students in public speaking and leadership. And I started a training program in Farmington Public Schools back in 2015. And it was a Toastmasters class, actually, that I ran at Harrison High School and North Farmington High School. And then after that, I saw that there was a great need for what I was doing. And I just went on ahead and broke away from that and started working in Detroit Public Schools. And then I just started working with individuals separately. So.
Okay, great. And shout out to the West Side. So I'm a West Sider myself.
Good.
Right. So nothing against the East Side. East Side is, y'all good too.
Yeah.
But we got to represent sometimes.
That's right. Yes.
All right. So interesting. You was telling me about yourself and your family. Have a twin. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to get right into it in what you do. You mentioned about Toastmasters, mm-hmm. and some people may have heard it, they may not have heard it. So tell our audience, what is it, Toastmasters, and why did you get involved in that?
Okay. Toastmasters is an international organization that helps the development of communication skills and leadership skills. I got involved in 2011. My first initial meeting was in 2010, and I was in the audience listening to those who were speaking, and I was like, I already know how to speak. And so I left and did not go back until a year later. And I worked for a subsidiary of Ford Motor Company and was in meetings with different executives, presidents, and vice presidents of different parts of Ford. And one of the things that I realized was that I needed more practice with public speaking and then wanted to develop my leadership skills. So I went back to Toastmasters and just stayed in there for about 4 or 5 years so that I can gain all the experience and knowledge that I needed so that I could then train others as well.
Okay, so it sounds like due to your job employment, you
Mhm.
wanted to just enhance your confidence and speaking and communication and also leadership skills.
Absolutely.
And you saw that Toastmasters was that vehicle.
That is correct.
Now, how would someone get involved in Toastmasters? Do they have to pay a fee, or how do they get started if they want to enhance their speaking and communication skills?
So if you want to join Toastmasters, you can do a Google search and find them online. There is a fee to participate. They have a new track. So when I started, it was a lot different. You had your communication skills track, and then you had your leadership track. And depending on which one you wanted to focus the most on, you could do so. But they have turned it into a curriculum now to where you can get the best out of it. But I want to put this plug in that strategic image consulting helps individuals with public speaking. So if that is not the route that you want to take, then you can contact me and I will definitely help to move you along in those areas.
All right, all right.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. So so that was your first journey into speaking, or in the bio I talked about you as a minister. Did you have the urge for communicating and helping people as a minister first, or as a professional person you wanted to enhance your speaking skills?
So ministry came, I believe, right after the career.
Okay.
And so, of course, when you're speaking, when you have the gift of ministry, and when you have the word on the inside of you, you're not necessarily, unless you have a platform or you're being asked to speak a lot of times, then you may not necessarily have, or let me say this, there can be a difference in how you communicate.
Okay.
So when you're communicating from a professional standpoint and working with higher ups and executive and things of that, you want to make sure that you're able to articulate very, very well, that
Okay.
your confidence is high. So this way, when you go in, if you have to do like presentations and things of that, you want to make sure that you are presenting your best self and that you can go in, get your call to action, and have them to buy into whatever it is that you're saying. Similar in ministry, except it's a little more different. You can be yourself more so, and you're speaking the word. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
did you have always had a passion of communicating and getting in front of people, or how did this all begin for you?
Well, I am an extrovert, so that was never a problem for me. I Years ago I said I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and then I
Mhm.
realized that motivation comes within, so I can encourage, I can
Mm.
inspire, I can influence, I can help transform. So from there I said, okay, well, I want to be able to speak to people, whether it's in a small setting or a large setting, and
Mhm.
help them to be able to overcome a lot of the barriers that they have that prevent them from being able to move forward in their lives.
Okay.
And so that is something that I do very, very well.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. So you have your desire, your calling into ministry where you're speaking and teaching. You
Mhm.
also had opportunity. You were with Ford Motor Company, and you saw the desire to enhance your communication skills. And you got involved with Toastmasters.
Yeah.
So where does this story lead up to when you start off your own company with Strategic Image Consulting?
So in 2014, I was faced with unemployment.
Okay.
And in January of 2014, I had this desire to start my own business, but I didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know what the name of it was going to be. And one day I prayed and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what is the name of this business going to be? And I did some research and then I went to sleep and then I woke up with the name.
Okay.
It was just that simple. I reserved the name of the business because I didn't know that I was going to need it a few months later, but I wanted to make sure that no one else could have it. And then in March 2014, I ended up losing my job. And that was like the perfect transition into becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay. All right. So what do you do with strategic image consulting?
So we do a lot of things actually, but we focus more so on the personal and the professional development, public speaking skills, building up that confidence. A lot of times I say, you have to do things afraid, but sometimes people that fear it prevents them from being able to do anything. So I help individuals to deal with those fears that they have, whether it's standing before people, whether it's just talking to people, coming outside of their comfort zone. So this way they can be exposed to do more than what they've been doing.
Okay. So just kind of getting over that fear and feeling comfortable being in front of people, whether it's small groups, a large audience, or maybe leading or managing a team. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, yes.
Now, would you say, we have people who are viewing this who maybe they're a professional or maybe they have a desire to be a speaker or a motivational speaker or leader, or maybe even come online and host a podcast or lead a webinar. What would you say? Do you help people in all forms of communication, or is it speaking, presentation, or what makes your business unique?
Listen, so I have a funny story really, really quickly. So on Friday, I got a phone call from a person, and they asked me to help them with their image.
Okay.
And so then they asked me, well, what part of the image do I help with? And so I asked him, I said, well, what is it that you need help with? Let me ask you that. And
Okay.
so he said, well, I'm already confident. I think I dress nicely. I just need someone to help me to look better on my Bumble profile. And I was like,
So you
oh,
help people improve their image to get better dates on Bumble, Tinder, and I
well,
don't know, Match.com.
I will say this that the improvements of your confidence and overcoming
Right.
those self-defeated thoughts will then help you to have that confidence, so that if you are putting a profile on Bumble or Tinder or whatever those dating sites are, then definitely you will get selected. So they won't be swiping, I don't know, because I'm not on them, left or to dismiss you or whatnot.
Okay.
So, anyway, but so with presentation, making sure that their posture is correct, making sure that their vocabulary is extended. A lot of times when people don't read, their vocabulary is very limited, and sometimes people can speak in the most simplest terms, which is not a problem. But when you read more, you have more to say, you have more descriptive words that you can use to get your point across, and then that helps you to be able to speak to people that are on a high level, in the middle, or even as they say, a fifth grader or whatnot. But I believe that helps those to build up your confidence as well. Helping people to put together presentations. If there's a presentation that they have to give, then I work with them. So this way, whatever their presentation is, then we work through it. We work through the ahs, the ums, the you knows, all those filler words that we use all the time.
Yes.
I know one of the filler words that my daughter tells me, I say, and you all may have heard me say,
Okay.
but helping to even minimize on those words. So this way you're able to
So if someone's
professional.
so if someone's using your services,
Mhm.
what are some techniques or exercises you do to help to expand their vocabulary and also to work on removing those filler words?
Mhm. So one of the exercises, I like extemporaneous speaking, which is speaking off the cuff. You don't know what you're going to talk about. And so I give, and I'm going to use this as an example. So I tell them to use this ink pen and make it be something that it's not. So of course we see this ink pen here, but I want individuals to make it be a teleporter, a transporter, make it do something that it is not, that you can physically see. And that kind of breaks the ice, and it gets them in the mode of being able to think about what it is that they want to say, how they're going to sell it, and things of that nature. And that helps them to be able to put their thoughts together. So this way they can move on to the next task or the next objective.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all in your body language, your vocal variety. So the tones of your voice. I had a client before who was very monotone, and I said, you need to use some inflection.
Okay.
I've had clients who they just used a whole lot of words, and I said, okay, we just need you to get to the point. So because when people are listening, they want to hear what you have to say, but they want you to hurry up and get to the point. So this way they can move on to the next thing and not spend all this time just hearing all these words that don't make sense or are unnecessary. I'll say that.
Okay. So you work with your clients to make sure they're not using unnecessary words. Of course, dealing with the word filler with the ums and you knows and you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff. And then body posture, which is important. Now, I kind of want to go back into that story you shared with the guy called about enhancing his image on his Bumble profile. Does your company help with styling or dress or you just mostly focus on communication?
No, we do. I'm a strategic image consultant. So last year I had a client who was giving a press conference in New York for electric vehicles. And he called me randomly out of the blue and said, hey, I need your help. And he had purchased 2 suits. He brought them to me, and I was able to share with him which one he needed to wear for the press conference, and then which one he needed to wear for the after evening occasion or whatnot.
Okay.
So yes, I definitely do.
Okay, was one of those suits lime green or
No.
don't wear lime green at a press conference?
Do
Or some
not wear
gators
lime
or
green to
Detroit
a press
Gators. You know how we like to. Okay,
and no gators.
no gators. Okay, all right. No lime green and no hats with a feather. Do we?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, all right.
No.
Press conference.
Yeah. Because we want to make sure that as you're speaking and as people are watching you, that they're able to see everything from the head all the way down to your toes, your shoes,
Right.
even to the cleaning of your fingernails. A lot of men in particular, they may clean up their nails. They may wear clear polish on their nails,
Okay.
some may not, but it's your preference. But just make sure that you are together, because I always say, make your first impression a lasting impression, because you only get one time to make that impression stick.
Who is your ideal customer that you work with?
So it started out with children. I started out, as I mentioned, training the youth in public speaking. And after I had a few oratorical contests, their parents were there to watch them, and their parents started asking me to help them.
Oh,
So it transitioned from youth public speaking to just public speaking and leadership development. So I work with the young people and our seasoned people as well.
well, that's a good segue. So, explain what you do with children and helping them with their confidence, presentation, and communication skills.
So I run a youth leadership program throughout the year, and I help them to develop their leadership style. I help them to find out their career choices or career awareness, career exploration. So this way they can kind of figure out or have an idea of what it is that they would like to do. And so I tie in the public speaking, the presentation. I have them to create a business. So I tie in entrepreneurship as well as the financial literacy portion also. So this way I'm developing them as a whole, as opposed to just one particular area, because our children, including the social emotional portion of that also, a lot of children, they had a hard time during COVID, and they were already, I believe, some of them were having a hard time prior to that. And of course, being in school, you're taught to test, you're not necessarily given these extra opportunities. And I know, for one, in some urban areas, the children they necessarily don't have like your arts, your music, your gym or physical education and things of that. So the program that I offer gives them that opportunity. So this way, if they're not learning it at school, they can learn it outside, but they're still getting those wraparound services. So to
Okay.
help them. Mm-hmm.
Wow, wow. Now you mentioned that there's some type of oratorical competitions, or
Yes.
yeah. So what is your work around that? And you do this in the Oakland public schools, right?
I've done it in the Detroit public schools and Farmington and just wherever I hold my services. But when I first held my first oratorical contest, it was in Detroit public schools, and I was working with grades 5 through 12.
Wow.
And I had probably about 100 students to participate. And we had the oratorical contest at Central High School. And what was so amazing was that one of my fifth graders beat everybody. It was so amazing. She had the confidence. She had the voice. She had the body language. She had everything that she needed. And I remember prior to, she was like, Miss Blackmon, I don't think I can do this. I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. And I said, you can do this because it's already on the inside of you. All you have to do is just do it. Again, do it afraid. And out of all the fifth graders, sixth graders, seventh graders, all the way up to seniors in high school, she won the entire oratorical competition.
So what do they have certain subjects, or what do they prepare for? They have to do is it a 5-minute speech, 10-minute?
So it depends. I either give them a 3 to 5 minute or 3 to 5 minute speech, or 6 to 8 minutes, depending on their age level. And I give them the topic that they will speak on, and I give them the opportunity to prepare. So when we come together, I know in Toastmasters, we say that feedback is the breakfast of champions, but also they come into the laboratory, and that's the opportunity for them to make all the mistakes that they need to get all their nervousness out. So this way they're not rocking back and forth when they're giving their presentations. Right. So this way they can do their best. And I give them certificates of completion. I even give my adults certificates of completion because it's something that they're investing in themselves. So I want to make sure that they get what they need. I give out medals. I give out ribbons. I do the whole experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of maybe it was around when I was in middle school or elementary, or I don't remember in high school, but it wasn't until college until I was required to do a public speaking class, and that was part of the general ed requirements. And I think your services are definitely needed with terms of just now it's more than ever important to have strong communication skills, strong body language and presence as we're more into this whole content era, and knowing how to properly interview. So when you work with children and clients, you talked about the laboratory. Can you describe what is that whole process? How do you help people?
So the laboratory is the sessions or the group sessions that we have where everyone comes together or the individual comes together, and we focus on the areas that they need to overcome. I had a seventh grader a few years ago, and he was told that, he had to make eye contact with everyone in the audience. And he said, Ms. Blackmon, he said, it feels like people are staring into my soul. So, and then many of you may have heard years ago, or maybe even now, that if you're nervous when you're giving your speeches, to imagine people in their underwear.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do either. And then also they say, well, instead of looking in the face of people or in their eyes, to stare to the back of the room.
Yes.
And,
I use that technique. I stare at the back of the room.
So let me share this, and I'm going to do this exercise right now. Okay. Yeah. So right now, those of you who are viewing, you can see my eyes, and I'm not looking into the camera. So if I'm standing on a stage or just standing before a group of people, this is me staring to the back of the room. Now, as the audience, I want to be engaged with what you're sharing with me. If you're staring to the back of the room, you're not making eye contact with me. it's very important that as a speaker, that you make eye contact with your audience so that you can pull them into what you're saying. They're there for the experience. They paid the money to hear you speak. And for you to stare to the back of the room is rude. You know,
Right. All
it's
right.
very,
Stop
very,
being rude.
yes.
I gotta stop
That's
being
what you're
rude and
doing.
stare people in their eyes and pretend like they got their undergarments on.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But if that helps you, but no, making eye contact is extremely important. And I know there are a lot of people who were raised not to stare people in their eyes because that was a
Right.
form of disrespect. You know, I
Right.
remember hearing that when I was younger. But
Mhm.
now a lot of people say if you don't look at them in their eyes, they think you're hiding something, you know?
Right. Right.
So making eye contact is extremely important because you want to engage your audience and you want them to feel that they're a part of what you're sharing with them is extremely important.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So go ahead.
okay. And so they when you're working with people, you teach them those techniques to improve their effectiveness in engaging the
Yeah.
audience. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
Well, what else? I have a few slides I want to share here.
Okay.
Um, and this is pulled off your website. Um, so and it says you do career development, professional development, and personal development. So break
Mhm.
down the differences in what you provide in your services.
So the career development is helping individuals to find out what they want to do. uh, Bringing awareness to the different clusters that are career clusters that are out there. So, whether it's agriculture, whether it's public service, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's health sciences, automotive technology, those different clusters. And what I also do is I give assessments. So, this way, we can help find out the best career choice for an individual to go into. So I work with children as well as adults with that because a lot of times when you get fired from your job, get laid off or whatever the case may be, there may be a time for you to pivot into a different type of career. But if you've been doing a job for a number of years, let's say customer service, or if you've been in the automotive industry for a long time, but you really want a change. So then we take the assessment, you take the assessment, and then we go from there to help find out which career choice or which industry best fits you, your personality, and things of that.
Okay.
With professional development, a lot of people come to me, they're already in their career or they're entrepreneurs or they're pondering the idea of starting their own business, and they have to give presentations, they have to give speeches because if they're an entrepreneur, they're trying to get business, right? So helping them to be able to overcome those fears, but being able to sit down and find out exactly what it is that the company needs so that we can put whether it's a proposal together and things of that. So this way they can win that bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you do uh, I think it's a program, Success in Motion, or was that a part of your business?
So Success in Motion is the nonprofit part of Strategic Image Consulting. So I host conferences. I have a Success in Motion webcast where I actually do what's similar to what you're doing. So I have professionals, individuals to come on and I help to promote their businesses also. And my tagline is that we are here to inspire, empower, and promote to catapult you to the next level in your life. So I've been very successful with helping individuals to start their businesses as well as promoting them because we want to make sure that when those that are starting out that they're able to get the marketing that they need so this way they can get the business that they need to live.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We did have someone had a comment. I guess they thought at the press conference that the feather hats are nice. So I don't know. So you have, some people like the feather hats, but I probably wouldn't wear one at a press conference though. Even though that's the Detroit style lime green with the lime green
Right.
hat with the white brim with the
Yeah.
feather.
No.
But anyways, all right. So you have your Success in Motion program, a nonprofit where
Mhm.
you host conferences and then you do the webcast.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because you offer some interesting services in terms of presentation, things that people don't think about. If you're presenting to a bank or a board to get funding for your business, or maybe just interviewing for a job for a new career, um, having confidence and good communication skills are important. What about those who are interested in um, public speaking as a profession? Do you help people to get
Mm,
into that industry?
I do. I've had a couple of clients that I've worked with, and they just came to me and they said, "I just want to speak. I just want to talk to people." So we go through that process, and it's pretty much the same as learning those public speaking or those communication skills, watching out for different cues. The body language is extremely important when you're standing before a large audience of people. You want to make sure that you're not pacing, a whole lot and doing a lot of movements. A lot of people, they're nervous. They want to put their hands in their pockets. They want to just do something, that's going to help them, excuse me, overcome their nervousness. But it's awkward and it's annoying and it distracts from the actual presentation that a person is giving. So I help them to find out what is most comfortable with them and how to pace themselves as they speak, because that's extremely important when you're walking. Because again, if you're standing before a large audience of people, you want to make sure that you're meeting each group of people, each section where they are. And so I help individuals to learn how to maneuver, how to work the stage, if you will.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, you talked about the technical part of speaking in terms of how
Mhm.
to deal with nervous energy, um, how to connect with your audience, and things of that sort. What about the business of public speaking in terms of your audience, or how to get those contracts, or do you help people with that as well with your company?
No.
Oh, okay, no, okay, just
I
the
do not.
artist being the technical part.
Yes,
Okay, all right,
yes,
okay,
yes. I
all
help to
right.
make
Just wanted
sure
to
that you're
clarify. Yeah.
prepared so that when you do go forth before someone making those cold calls
Okay.
or
All right.
networking, that you're
Right.
ready.
You're not saying you help people get speaking engagements, but you'll help them when the engagement comes
Correct.
to be their best version of themselves.
That
Okay,
is
that's good.
correct.
All right.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. So as we I think that oh yeah, I had a few other questions. So what do you enjoy most about what you do?
Ooh. Again, as I mentioned earlier, just really, really, really loving and enjoying people and helping to pull out all the potential that's on the inside of them. You know, sometimes people they're not fully aware of the tools, the keys, the power, the strength that they have on the inside of them. And I can see it. I can look at a person and I don't even have to spend a whole hour talking to them, but I can see what's on the inside of them. And I tend to focus more so on the positive, more so than the negative, but I bring it all together and we just pull it out. We get down to the root, so this way they can overcome that to lay a better foundation that's smooth, that's covered with the right type of soil. So this way, when I start planting those fruitful seeds that are going to burst forth, that they are just the best version of themselves that they've ever been. And it's so fulfilling for me to see other people win, to see
Okay.
them blossom and to bloom and to come out of the shell that they've been in for so long. And when they're discouraged and they, again, those self-defeated thoughts that keep them down and bound, and I am the one to help them get free.
Right. All right.
Yes,
Help
yes,
them get free. That's
help them
awesome.
get free.
So I have a few other questions as we wrap things up. We're going to talk about how people can connect with you and
Mhm.
work directly with you. I'm going to share this real quick announcement. We'll be right back. Um, and then we'll go into a few other questions and then how people can work directly with you.
Okay.
Hey everyone, this is Charles with Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. If you are finding value in today's video, I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment. We would love to hear your feedback. And don't forget to click on that notification bell so you can be notified when we have upcoming episodes of difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. If you're interested in being a part of our Facebook networking community, I invite you to click on the link to be a part of that community. This is a place where you can network with like minded people and a chance to share about your product or service. If you're interested in working with me directly on how you can share your story with video or with podcasting, you can email me direct at DetroitMetroPlug313 at gmail.com. Thanks again, and let's get back to this interview.
All right, welcome back. If those who are just joining us or have been watching us live, we're here with Nicole Blackmon. She is the CEO and founder of Strategic Image Consulting. She also has a nonprofit called Success in Motion, where she does conferences, speaking, as well as she does a webcast where she interviews other business owners. She also works with Oakland schools and helping students in their area of communication and confidence and other areas of leadership. And so if you are joining us or have been watching and you're trying to get yourself together to have that great presentation, whether it's at your job or you want to get into speaking or just improve your sales presentation or even improve your dating website or profile. She helped the gentleman with maybe you need help with your image on Facebook dating. I'm not sure, Tinder or Match.com. So you want to seek out Nicole and her services. She'll help you get yourself together. Okay. All right. So just a few other questions. Uh, what advice you would give to someone who is interested in getting into the business that you're in today?
Ooh. Well, I would say, first of all, I would tell them first to make sure that they really, really, really want to get into the business that they're going into. It's not for the faint at heart, of course. You have to be strong because there will be a lot of no's before your yeses, and don't be discouraged. You know, a lot of people, they look at numbers, and because they want to jump into business and they're expecting to have a whole lot of clients and customers. But I will say that when you have a few number of customers or clients that are dedicated and they are definitely investing in themselves, those will be the ones that will help to get you the business. You know, I like to say that word of mouth marketing will never go out of style.
Okay.
So, you know, always make sure that, of course, you want to make sure that your social media game is tight, but also just making sure that your word of mouth, that people are speaking about what it is that you do. Do it afraid. Don't allow fear to prevent you from moving forward. I always say that if I don't do something, I have failed, because I will never be on the other side of it if I don't do it. And that's failure to me. So that's something to think about as well. And don't limit yourself. You know, I always say, think beyond what you can see. See beyond what you can see, and beyond the sky's limit is what you can have. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you for that advice for those who are watching who want to get into the speaking industry or consulting. What would one phrase or one sentence or maybe one word describe the way you do business or the work that you do?
Well, I have more than one word.
Okay, you can share more than one word.
But if I were one of my customers, I would say that Nicole does business with integrity, with passion, and with dedication.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity, passion, dedication.
Yep.
Yes. So, as we wrap up, has there been any mentors or even books that has impacted you that you like to share with our audience?
So I would say John Maxwell's book on leadership 101.
Okay.
That's been a good one. Also, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. That's also another one. Les Brown, I've heard some of his speaking, and and just listening to other people and getting the nuggets that they share and being able to embrace those. And then also just people in my everyday life. you know, a lot of times they say that things are more so caught than taught. So as long as you're paying attention, as long as you're listening, then you
Yes.
can pick up on those things that you need to be successful. So I'll leave it with that.
Okay. Okay. So we want to talk about how people can connect with you. So we're going to have people who are viewing live, who want to improve their communication skills, or people who will watch the playback. Um, and so we have on this slide that your handles on Facebook at Strategic Image Consulting 1, Instagram and Nicole Blackmon. We have your email, Nicole at strategicimageconsult.com, and then your website right there. That's all correct, right?
That is correct. Yes.
And so with that, I wanted to ask if someone's who's going to work with you and they want to improve their communication skills, what can they expect out of your services?
Proven results.
Okay.
You will definitely be better than how you were when you first came to me. And I know that for a fact. That's not arrogance, but that's the confidence that I have because I know that the services that I provide, excuse me, are effective and they will definitely catapult you to the next level in your life. Definitely.
Okay. So proven results. So those who are watching the replay, if you want to improve in your communication, your speaking, just overall presentation, your image, there's their information. There's their Instagram, their email, and the website. So do you have any upcoming events or programs or anything you'd like to share about your business that you feel our audience should know?
Yes, I have a youth leadership program that's starting up in a couple of weeks. You can email me to get more information about that. Also, I want to share my business number as well. So this way, because some people, they like to text or call, and it's 248-987-8307. Again, that's 248-987-8307.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you are, I'm not taking business away from you, but I say this, because you are a person, and then there's also other people, so if someone is interested in coming on the Success in Motion webcast also, because we don't know the same people, but that
Absolutely.
will be able to
absolutely.
market them and promote them even the more, then you can contact me also. My webcasts are on Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. So
Okay. Success in Motion webcast.
Yes.
7:30 p.m.
Yes.
And your number is 248-987-8307, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yes. And by the way, you're not taking business away from me.
Good.
I have a different philosophy. I believe that we can all win together. There's enough outlets for people to get on to share, and then we all have different audiences. So
That's true.
So that's great. So I'm here to support you in what you're doing, and I want to thank you for being on a podcast and celebrate your contributions and how you're helping people, young people, and improving their image, and as well as adults.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to thank you for being on the podcast. Any parting words before we end today?
Just one of the things I like to say is to thy own self be true.
Okay.
Just be who you are, be authentic. Let that be displayed in when you're speaking to people, when you're giving presentations. Just be who you are. Don't try to mimic someone else and what they're, how they do things, but just be yourself, because that is what's going to get you where you need to go.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Miss Nicole Blackmon. Be who you are. Be you times 2. Nobody can copy you. So that's great. So that concludes our podcast. Thank you for those who are watching us live and those who will watch the replay. I'll have the information in the description for those who will watch the YouTube replay. If you want to connect with Nicole Blackmon and improve in your area of communication and your overall image. Thanks again. We'll be here next week with another Detroit difference maker in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.